Hello there, I'm Andy the Audiobook Narrator, and in this video I'm giving you access to the first audio chapter of Grey Justice, a million-plus best-selling British action thriller with a difference, written by the fantastic Alan McDermott, and it's free of charge. Yes, just under 11 minutes of audio content is coming your way in this video, and when you get to the end I will tell you what else is coming from this fantastic book on this YouTube channel. Again, free of charge. So, Grey Justice is book 1 in the celebrated Tom Gray series. Written in 2011, the main character is, of course, Tom Gray, a tough and heroic ex-SAS sergeant in the British Army. This book was Alan McDermott's first ever release, and it was an immediate smash hit. It was followed by 5 more books in the series, plus a prequel, which was written after the first 6. And together they catapulted Alan into that select club of million-plus best-selling authors. An amazing achievement for someone who had only just started his writing career. So coming now is the first chapter. It's actually the prologue, and sets the scene for the momentous story that follows. Do enjoy it. And please remember to click the thumbs up symbol to show that you did, and I'll catch you again at the end. Prologue, 21st of January 2010. Stuart Boyle held the Subaru Impreza at a steady 30 miles per hour as he headed towards the town centre. A red traffic light halted his progress, and he gazed around at the people in the cars, on the buses, walking the streets, most of them heading to work. He couldn't understand the appeal of slaving 8 hours a day doing someone else's bidding for just a couple of £100 a week. In comparison, he was sitting in a nice motor that took just 3 minutes to steal and would earn him an easy £500 by the end of the day. The fact that he regularly got caught didn't bother him. It was an occupational risk he was willing to take. Capture was simply an inconvenience, another few hours spent in a cell when he could be out casing his next hit. No, as things stood, work wasn't for him. He was 20, with at least another 50 years ahead of him. No way was he spending all that time in an office or factory. He caressed the wheel of the Subaru he had stolen the night before, wishing he could keep it a bit longer. But he'd already told Sammy Christodoulou that he had it. Sammy wanted it straight away, and you didn't piss around with Sammy. Best to hand it over, take the cash, and see what tomorrow brings. Maybe he'd keep the next one to himself for a few days. "See what other music they got," he ordered Martin Kyle, who was sitting in the passenger seat. In the back, Tim Garbett nodded his head to the current beat and voiced his displeasure when the disc was changed. "Ah, I was listening to that." "Stop bleating, Timmy," Kyle said, switching the CD for something with a bit more drum and bass. "My gran wouldn't even listen to that crap." Boyle laughed, but his eyes were on the black Ford coming towards them. The thick aerial first caught his attention, and as it neared he saw the white shirts and black epaulets of the occupants that identified them as police in an unmarked car. The Ford passed them, and in his rearview mirror he watched it continue for another 100 yards before the blue lights illuminated and it performed a U-turn. Game on. "That's Stuart Boyle in the Scooby," PC Trevor Haynes told his partner. That was enough for his colleague Glenn Barker, and he hit the blues and twos before spinning the car around in pursuit. "Hotel Oscar, this is Romeo Tango 25. Can we have a PNC check on a blue Subaru Impreza, license number Whiskey Victor 5, 3 Victor Kilo Mike?" Although it was procedure to check the police national computer, the call-in was a formality. PC Haynes knew for a fact that Stuart Boyle didn't own a Subaru Impreza, nor could he have insurance to drive one because he didn't have a driving licence. In fact, Stuart Boyle had never had a valid licence. His driving ban had started before he was even old enough to apply for one, And he had a string of motoring convictions ranging from driving without a licence, driving whilst disqualified and driving without insurance, to theft of a motor vehicle and taking without the owner's consent. All this despite being just 20 years of age.
Romeo Tango 25, this is Hotel Oscar. The vehicle is registered to a Mr. Simon Glover, Winslow Way, Mepham, Kent. It was reported stolen at 8 this morning.
Romeo Tango 25, roger that. We believe the driver is a Stuart Boyle, currently disqualified from driving. We are 300 yards behind it, heading north on Hall Lane. Over.
He's seen us, Haynes told his colleague.
Looks like it. Fasten your seatbelt, 'cause he ain't one for pulling over,
Barker advised. Sure enough, the Subaru was soon doing 60 miles per hour, and their Ford was keeping up but not gaining.
Hotel Oscar, Romeo Tango 25, vehicle failing to stop, continuing west, speed 60 miles an hour. Traffic is light, visibility is excellent, weather is clear, driver is pursuit trained. Over.
As soon as the blue lights illuminated, Stuart was plotting his course home. Once in the network of streets on the Foxwell estate, he was confident he could lose them. It was just a case of getting there before they stopped him. At this time of day, the ring road was the quickest way back, especially in an Impreza. He hit the accelerator and was soon doing 60 through the morning traffic, weaving between cars and speeding down the centre of the road, forcing other drivers onto the curb. At the traffic lights, he was held up by stationary cars, so he took to the oncoming lane and sped through the junction, narrowly avoiding a collision with a bus coming from his right. The move held the police up, and he gained an advantage, pulling a further 100 yards ahead. But another set of red traffic lights evened things out, and he had to slow to squeeze into a gap between a car and a van. The police were right on his tail now, and traffic ahead was stopped, so he took to the pavement, scattering pedestrians as he searched desperately for a clear stretch of road. Up ahead, he saw nothing but stationary vehicles, so he turned into a side road and sped along residential streets at twice the speed limit. He checked his rearview mirror as he took another turn, saw the police car in the distance, and he guessed he had enough of an advantage, just as long as he could maintain it. Another right turn, and he was back on the main road, with the ring road only a few 100 yards ahead.
Hotel Oscar, Romeo Tango 25, vehicle has joined the ring road, heading west, speed now 80 miles an hour.
PC Haynes gave the commentary, while PC Barker concentrated on the driving.
Understood, 25.
The pursuit carried on for 2 miles with no sign of the Subaru slowing down. If anything, it was pulling away from the Ford.
Hotel Oscar, Romeo Tango 25, we believe he may be heading for the Foxwell estate. Do we have any other units in that area? Over?
Haynes asked. If they didn't get the Scooby contained soon, they were sure to lose them, even if they knew who was at the wheel. Recognising Stuart Boyle was one thing, but proving that he was ever in the car was another matter entirely. He was too clever to touch a car without surgical gloves, and his family would provide a watertight alibi, as always. No, their only chance was to catch him at the wheel.
Romeo Tango 25, we have no units available now, and Quebec Hotel 99 is on another call. Over.
Damn! QH-99, the Force helicopter, would have been invaluable in this pursuit, especially if they lost sight of the vehicle and the suspects decamped. Boyle pulled off the dual carriageway a mile from his home. Although it felt like he had slowed considerably, he was still travelling at 70 miles per hour through the light traffic. Behind him, the unmarked car was closing, but he had enough of a lead as he turned into the estate. He told Martin to turn the music off and took the first left, then a right, and a left again. With the windows open, he could hear the sirens disappearing in the opposite direction. He still wasn't out of the woods, though. He was well known among the local constabulary, and there was a chance that they might have recognised him. They would also have the chopper up searching for the car, he was sure of that. He had to get home as soon as possible, so that his family could swear that he had been in the house all along. He took the next right into a cul-de-sac, stopped the car, and was out running in no time. His passengers were moments behind him, and all three headed for an alley which led to Albert Street and Boyle's house. Had any of them looked back, they would have seen the Subaru rolling gently down the slight incline of the street. Slowly at first, but the momentum soon built up, and it gathered speed. Dina Gray stood outside her sister's door, saying her goodbyes after discussing the upcoming birthday party. Daniel made his way up the garden steps and out into the street, where he looked over the low wall into Sarah's garden and started singing 10 Green Bottles. Dina looked up at her son, marvelling at how quickly he had picked up that song. He'd only heard it for the first time at the beginning of the week, and here he was, counting down from 10 to 0. It was hard to believe that he would be 3 years old at the weekend. It seemed like just yesterday that he was learning to crawl. Now he could count. He knew the alphabet. He could read a dozen words and loved to sing. She knew he would have lots of fun in the soft play area of the local activity centre next weekend, and she was also looking forward to it immensely.
"I really envy you,"
Sarah said.
"I wish I could get my lazy sod of a husband off the beer long enough to get it up, and then I might stand a chance of having another little darling like him."
Sarah's own kids were all grown up, and she felt broody every time Daniel popped round. But that didn't stop her volunteering to babysit at every opportunity. With the front of the garden being elevated, neither Dina nor Sarah saw the Subaru until it was a few feet away. There was barely time to recognise the danger before it hit the wall at only 12 miles per hour. The impact wasn't enough to demolish the wall, but it was going fast enough to crush the life out of little Daniel Gray. So, a tragedy takes place here, which sets off a chain of events in this book and indeed the complete series. There will be intrigue, action, tension, and unexpected twists and turns to be enjoyed throughout. The book also raises serious questions about the state of the justice system in this country and its effect on society, so a big and important theme that will get you thinking. Now, this was the prologue, in effect, the first chapter, and I'm very pleased to tell you that very soon Chapter 1 proper will also be available in full on this, my Andy the Audiobook Narrator YouTube channel, free of charge. So please subscribe to this channel, no cost of course, and click on the little bell symbol so that you get notified whenever I release a new video in this series as well as others on all things audiobooks for listeners like you, authors, and new or aspiring narrators. Oh, and if you haven't already, please click on that thumbs up button to show that you've enjoyed this video. So, thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed your Grey Justice taster. Bye for now, and see me again soon for the next chapter in this brilliant story.